Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to dive into some iron striking concepts that I really think will help you guys. We've got our HackMotion device, we've got our GC quad, and we have a couple other additional things set in our station that I think can set you guys up for success when it comes to your approach play. Okay guys, so we've, as I say, set up our station, GC quad, HackMotion, live feedback. One of the things we love about using the HackMotion devices, we can literally see how our wrists, whether it be lead, whether it be trail, how they are working real time. And we also get some key metrics along the way, such as where we set at address. Are we in flexion? Are we in too much extension? Again, those things that give us great clues as to why we're either hitting it well. That's important to say. It's not just, we don't just monitor things when we're hitting it bad. We also want to blueprint and benchmark our numbers when we are, swinging really, really nicely. So we've got the address position, we've got top of backswing, and we've got impact. So we're going to be looking at the position the wrist gets into relative to the golf club, and we know what we're looking for. We've talked about it a lot in the channel. Many of the iron compression videos that we've done, we've talked about the need or desire for that handle to be in a little bit of forward position. We've talked about low point control and the difference between a higher handicapper and a pro golfer. One of the key metrics is the ability to control that low point. One of the things we've done today to set up our station, which is a really fun way I think pretty much anyone can do. Certainly, GC quad might not be in everyone's budget. HackMotion, lovely to see lots of you are giving us feedback that you are enjoying using the HackMotion. And those of you who don't, we absolutely advise you to take a look at it. We've got a chalk line, a blue simple chalk line you can get from any hardware store. And we've popped that chalk line directly in line with where we're going to be hitting these golf balls today. That is going to be our low budget way of tracking our entry point, okay? We want to make sure that divot is happening after the blue line. So we've got the golf ball sitting on the blue line today. We want to make sure that for consistency of ball striking and for maximizing energy production through the forward shaft lean, we've got a really well-controlled low point in the golf swing. Let's talk about some of the biggest issues that we see with players who hit weak iron shots, really struggle with getting compression with their irons. Well, the number one thing I see is obviously out to in and a little bit of that scooping motion, too much extension. Extension is cupping, okay, for a simpler term, or a more sort of well-known term, cupping, okay, bowed, that's extension, that's flexion, okay? So we see lots of people that out to in with too much extension in that lead wrist, and that leads to a poor, weak impact position. So we'll give you that one first. We'll take a look at what that looks like on our device here. 33-degree lofted 7-iron. Okay, we're going to try to really standardize our club head speed today. I asked Casey, keep me honest on club head speed. I'm trying to be around 85-ish. That felt around that. What did we get? It
was 86.5.
Good, happy with that. Okay, that's a really nice amount of 7-iron club head speed, guys. If those of you out there, with 7 or 86.5 miles an hour club head speed, you certainly should be carrying your golf ball more than 149.
148, yeah, 148.7.
Yeah. So we're right around that. So you should be getting more energy than that. One of the other things I see commonly from golfers, varying levels of sort of time playing the game, is the lead arm chicken wing. When you start to get bunched up at impact and you get down there and you're trying so hard to keep your eye on the golf ball and you end up getting all stuck and you get in that position there where you've got really no room to swing. That's another common one I see, and we've got a great tip for how to get out of that chicken wing position. So let's look at that one. First shot was no divot. Did you get club data in that first one? What was the angle of attack?
3 degrees.
3 degrees down. What was dynamic loft?
Loft was 31.3.
So basically no shaft lean. and a little bit of downward angle attack. Okay, let's kind of show you that. Head down, no room, not getting that chest sort of rotating towards the target, that stuck position that lots of people get into. Okay, people so intent on keeping the head down. And remember, that's one of the age-old pieces of advice in the golf game, the golf swing. Keep your head down, keep your head down. I don't know if this is controversial. I don't think it is, because I've been around enough great teachers over the years. I actually think that's one of the worst things you can do, is keep your head down. Why would we want to keep our head down when we're making this, let's be honest, pretty violent motion with our body in this effort to try and propel this golf ball out into the field? Why would we want our head to be stuck there as we're turning as much as we can towards the target? We see neck injuries, back injuries, all sorts of injuries happening nowadays with players as they get more and more speed. Let's biomechanically look at a better way to go about that. So for me, and this is something I work on with my own game, I love to see the head have a little bit more freedom to start the look towards the target. And I'm not saying, you know, the first time you hit it, you'll hit it perfectly if you're allowing the head to turn a little bit. But I know you will feel more freedom in your neck and back, and, you know, those muscles that at times can absorb a lot of the impact strain from being so fixated on looking down at the golf ball. Okay, so what were the numbers on that last one?
So that was 82.6 club speed, 145.4 carry.
Got it.
Angle of attack was 2.6.
And dynamic loft was what?
30.
30. So again, we're not really creating compression. We're definitely not controlling low point. If we look at that there, so we've got our lovely blue line that the boys drew earlier on, and you can see that entry point is a full inch. And actually, that's the full inch is where it broke the ground. The reality is the club actually probably touched the grass for the first time about 2 inches out and actually broke the grass an inch out. So we're going to lose energy because of that. We're going to lose friction because of that. We're going to lose control. That last one launched at 24 degrees. I want my 7-iron launching about 15, 16 degrees, ideally. That's where I'm going to create energy from, okay? So let's look at some fixes to try and get ourselves to, again, produce more energy, more compression, and more forward shaft lean. Okay, guys, as we create more energy, as we try and get more towards the more desirable metrics that we are looking for when it comes to certainly our mid-irons and creating a stronger ball flight, a ball flight that gives us more bang for our buck than certainly what we were getting out of the amount of effort and energy we were doing with the first 2 swings. So this time, again, I've got the ball on the chalk line. I'm going to start looking for that low point, or certainly the divot, to happen a couple inches after the chalk line. That would be ideal for me. I like to see, you know, on any launch monitor that will give you low point as a metric. With the mid-irons, I like to see probably 4 to 5 inches ahead of address. That's where I like low point to occur. So that's the kind of bottom of your arc. So really the club, as it travels down, is actually still descending as it meets the ball. The collision with the golf ball actually causes, because there's obviously some slowing down of the club head as it hits its object, the club actually drops even more. We really see that with drivers. The minute you're even on the upswing, you hit the club and ball collide, the driver actually drops down a little bit and then carries on its journey. So the collision does slow the club down and create a little bit more of a sinking illustration when it comes to what the club is doing. That's when it gets deepest into the turf. So let's have a look at that one, okay? Really focusing on starting to give ourselves the freedom to let those eyes turn towards the target. I maybe lost my club head speed control there, Case. I felt really nice. Did I go like 88?
89, 88.8.
Okay. Guilty as charged on that one. I got a little bit excited. But the key metrics that we were looking for, dynamic loft, the first 2 at 30, 23. Really, really nice. Yeah. Ball speed, obviously, relative to club head speed. I know the club head speed went up about, relative to the first one, it went up about 4 miles an hour. but we did see a pickup in ball speed of about 11 or 12 miles an hour
Yeah.
over the first one. Smash factor, efficiency, whatever you kind of like to call it. Shot 1 and shot 2, 1.25 was the efficiency on the first 2 shots there, 1.36. I like my 7-iron. I have benchmark numbers for what I want the smash factor to be. I like 7-iron to be about 1.36, 1.37. That tells me that I'm striking it quite nicely and I'm getting the right metrics. So for me, that just felt so much easier. And I actually think that's where the speed came from. It feels so much easier to me to create speed and low point control if my eyes are starting to travel towards the target. Now, when we see this, or if you guys even want to slow it down, you will see I'm actually not, my head is by no means there at impact. I'm not looking, you know, a la David Duval, Annika Sorenstam, two of the greatest ball strikers in the men and the women's game. I'm certainly not looking at the target as I'm hitting the ball. I'm just giving my body the freedom to start to move in that direction. I kind of think of it as gliding. I don't want it to be an abrupt look up. I just want to know that as that club's coming down, so I will kind of go in the sequence of top of the backswing. So I will shift. I will start to right side bend, and then I will start to rotate. Then the vertical comes in last. Ideally, that's the sequence we like the golf swing to go in. And I just really like to think of when I get up to the top, or certainly lead arm parallel, that shift is starting to occur. Then we're starting to get into that right side bend or the lowering of the handle. Then as the club is in about that position, hands on top of the right thigh, we're starting to allow that head just to transition. And you can see how much it's pulling the shaft into forward shaft lean. One of my great friends, Mark Bull, explained to me a while ago, the hands, or certainly the eyes, will always lead the hands. If you think of, you know, pitching in baseball, what do? We're looking at the target. We're looking at where we're trying to pitch it. Darts, we're looking at the point on the board. Okay, we're starting to, by driving the eyes forward, we're giving the direction, the messaging for those hands to pull further forward. We're certainly not saying, you know, look down and just dump all your energy at impact. Get ahead. Let that chest start to open up. Let that left shoulder start to rise and get into the verticals of the downswing. That's what's going to lead to great ball striking. Let me show you a couple more. Okay, let's hit another one there, trying to just make sure we can get those same numbers. Again, I'll try and stick to around 85, try and control that, that dynamic loft as much as I can. Like, you can hear how much that is ball first. I've always thought when I go and watch the best players in the world, does it up at 89 again?
It's 89.1. It's higher than the last one.
It genuinely is hard to swing slow when I let my head go. I actually have a hard time slowing down. But when I'm at a PGA Tour event, European Tour event, and you listen to the best players, and it happens around the chipping green as well, it kind of has that little bit of a thinner sound, right? You've got the Henrik Stensons, the world sounds thumpy. But you go and listen to Tiger, it sounds clippy. You know, it sounds like it's a groove or so lower down the head. Our great friends at Forward Golf call it a Tiger strike. And it is. It's something that, you know, certainly appears to live a little bit lower in the head. You don't want those strikes starting to stray high. That's almost the worst place that you can hit it. When you look at the design of a modern cavity back club, there's nothing up there. There's no benefit to hitting up there. So we do not want our strikes to be there. We want to make sure we get that, you know, strike living on about groove 3 on this Titleist T100 iron. That would be ideal. And I could really hear that there. HackMotion, just looking at that interestingly, first couple of swings I saw, we were about 0 in terms of our flexion extension measurement. That was 11 degrees of flexion coming into impact. See, what were the numbers there? Okay, so launch angle came down a little bit.
Yeah, launch angle was 15.
Yeah,
Angle of attack was 7.2 down.
I love that.
Dynamic loft was 23.4.
Nicely controlled, yeah. No,
The carry was 170.
170. And it's genuinely easy energy. Relative to our blue line, look at that one. First one was definitely closer and it was still a good strike. But, you know, if we want to get that tiger strike, we need that divot to be happening. Couple of inches, the start of that divot is a good couple of inches after our blue chalk line there. So I'm getting the great feedback without this, without that, without any of it. I'm getting that great feedback from the chalk line that I'm starting to create really nice impact conditions. Let's just hit one more. Really like this for you guys, trying to improve the strength of your iron striking. Let's see if we can create a little bit more ball speed here. Okay. Again, I'll try and dial it back, but no promises. I'm struggling with that. Okay, so we're up to the top, we're shifting, we're lowering into right side bend, and we're letting the eyes go towards the target. Pulls the right elbow over the right hip, pulls the hands ahead, makes into that really nice, strong impact position. I bet that was faster, Case. 90?
89.5. 124 ball speed.
Yeah, like the energy I felt off that one was just different. That was 13 degrees of flexion at impact.
15-degree launch angle.
Yeah. It's genuinely been one of the biggest transformations in my iron game recently, guys, is when I worked on this with Braden with my own game, the ball started to fly out a window I was not familiar with. I've always been a launchy type of player. It's why I've always leaned towards irons that were player cavity, but on the stronger loft side. This is the weakest 7-iron I've ever used in my life, and actually could probably start to add some loft to it now that I'm delivering the club in a certain way. It feels like such a reward to even say that to me, because it means that my mechanics and my golf swing is in such a better place than it was, that I can start to get into those much more desirable impact sort of parameters, much more what we want, and I think it will really help you guys too. Okay guys, pretty simple concept, hopefully. Maybe the breaking down of the sequence of the swing, maybe something you want to rewatch just so you can, again, revisit the backswing as we get to lead arm parallel. We're shifting, we're tilting, we're rotating, and then we're pushing vertically. That is something that I think is worth doing some swings at home, even if it's with a club across your chest, some sort of practice swings. But in terms of feedback when you get out there, the two things I would love for you to have is something that tells you where that wrist position is at impact. Are you moving from extension into flexion as you come into impact? Because we know that's what the best players in the world do. That's something the HackMotion device gives you the ability to see that. Set yourself up on a nice little tripod, gives you the live feedback, tells you, you know, I'm on a streak right now of 10 in a row where I have the lead wrist working from extension into flexion. Tells me I'm doing it well. Even when I was hitting those shots poorly to start with, that was the relationship on that lead wrist. Extension into flexion. And that's what leads that, obviously, shaft into forward lean, gives you guys more ball speed, gives you a better low point to be able to control your entry into the ground, into the turf. All of those things will really start to help your game, drive more consistency in your approach play, tighten up that proximity, shorter putts, lower scores. You guys can figure it out from there. That's what we want in this game. That's what we want to be doing. So hope you guys enjoyed this. It's definitely a video that I would say, don't just watch once. There's a lot to digest in this one. Come back and watch this one a couple of times. I think you'll get a lot out of it. And there's maybe a couple of times you'll hear some different nuggets that you maybe didn't hear the first time around. We hope that's the case anyway. All right, guys, stay tuned for more. And please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, like the videos, leave a comment below. It's brilliant when we get the opportunity to interact with you guys. If there's no comments below, we're struggling to know whether you guys like the videos or whether you don't, whether you liked a certain directive in the information or you didn't. Any information on either side is always great for us. And as I said, if you do like it, feel free to hit that like button, and we really appreciate the support. All right, guys, stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.